doing him. He always been.
All his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting.
No lie, I'm telling you, this version of Tank is gonna be dangerous, bruh. If you know about boxing, come on, it is your...
When Gervonta Davis learned that Floyd Mayweather had trained Lamont Roach, he went completely crazy. Davis stated Floyd consistently places him in precarious circumstances. As a result of Floyd's training, it is evident that Roach is focused and prepared for battle, since he now moves with deft footwork, throws precise combinations, and defends with accuracy.
He almost hit you. Do that. Hold me. I know where something gonna go. I go there for a reason. How is she gonna record? How is she record?
From the beginning of his career, Gervonta Davis has had to contend with Floyd Mayweather's manipulation and favoritism. What started out as mentorship eventually turned into control, and many people familiar with the matter observed how Floyd frequently placed Davis in ways that restricted his independence, rather than letting him create his own legacy. Mayweather's actions revealed a wish to shape him into a different person while maintaining his shadow.
Adrian had the weigh-in. So from the weigh-in, from his weigh-in, they meet us at the food spot. So from there, we go to the gym. So remind you, they already got this set up. Floyd already got it set up. He already posted on Instagram. It probably was like 100 people in there, and he turned the heat up. That's what Floyd do. He turned the heat up in the gym while you in there. So he turned the heat up. Boom. We spar, but while we sparring, Floyd is in the ring. Like every time I'm punching, Floyd like grab my hand, like yank it back. Whereas though I can't even punch Devin. So it was times that like I catch Devin, boom, or I'm about to swing and Floyd like yank my hand back, or he'll push me to the ropes. Like he was actually like touching me while we were sparring. Like why? Like, he was, cause it was like Devin was his guy, cause Devin was training at his gym at the time. So, and he was training with his father. So, Devin was on. Floyd was on Devin's side.
Sounds
so
like
that's
a conspiracy to me.
Yeah, but later down the line, probably about like a couple months. No, this was recently. Not recently, but probably like 2 years ago. I asked Devin to like come to like spar me. And he was like, "No, I ain't no sparring partner." I had somebody
Davis disclosed that Mayweather frequently intervened during pivotal moments during his sparring match with Deon Haney. Just when Davis began to take control or land...
Floyd outdoing him. He always been like that. You know what I mean? So I gotta focus on what I'm focused on. He already did what he had to do, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Me, if I did what I like what he did in the sport, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be the same way. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't follow him for like stand to himself and things like that. You know what I mean? But it's also a part of me type thing, like come back and help too. You know what I mean? So it's much love to the whole Mayweather promotion. You know what I mean? Ain't no bad blood type shit. And a lot of people think like when I be tweeting on Instagram, I be mad. I just be.
Over time, Davis came to view his relationship with Mayweather as more of a controlled setup than a collaboration. He saw that Mayweather frequently put himself at the center of all decisions, guaranteeing that he always had the upper hand, whether it was media handling or matchmaking. Floyd's strategy appeared to be intended to manage Davis's career rather than give him more authority, and this insight stoked their developing hatred and estrangement from one another.
Better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight? Benavidez. It don't make no fucking sense. You don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
You was next in line. This was your next in line.
Is there like a
The last question, guys.
Is it like a love-hate like
Yeah,
fighter?
yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest, but he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. And he cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always
When discussing Mayweather's incapacity to acknowledge others, Davis hasn't held back. He claims that Floyd's ego prevents him from applauding anyone else's accomplishments, and this attitude was a major factor in Floyd's reluctance to support a rematch with Roach. Rather than concentrating on what was best for Davis, Floyd seemed more worried about losing the limelight to one of his protégés.
So I don't want Tank to necessarily leave Mayweather. I think he's in this position because of everything that Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe have done for him. So I do want him to do what he is saying. Take control of your career. Say that you want Shakur and actually fight Shakur. Say that you want Devin and actually fight Devin. You know, fight these guys. Don't keep making new names. Like, you gave Barrios a chance. You gave Isaac a chance. Like, you know, Gamboa. Like, those aren't the fights that we...
There were raucous and disorderly public arguments following Davis and Mayweather Promotions' split, rather than a quiet departure. Headlines were dominated by passive-aggressive remarks and arguments about promotional control. Davis requested greater freedom and openness, but Mayweather didn't appear willing to grant it. The split revealed the extent of the problems and gave many followers confirmation that their relationship had deteriorated long before it terminated.
Bob, it's not good for, it's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not going to elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it because he knows. Like, I'm not just going to say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth. And I think it will serve him best to go and...
Tension has existed for a while, resulting from divergent training approaches and arguments regarding opponents. Mayweather and Davis had argued behind the scenes. Mayweather frequently questioned Davis's choices, including as the rematch with Roach. But even his most critical opponents, including Floyd Davis, were taken aback by Davis's meticulous preparation for the fight. Davis is aware that a defeat this time would harm his reputation far more than the first one did.
Davis vs. Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, you know, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. You know, I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. You know, so Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, you know, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin rounds 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
With Las Vegas most likely hosting the event, there is a strong sense that this clash will end the rivalry once and for all and clarify both fighters' positions in the sport. The excitement surrounding the upcoming rematch has reached a fever pitch, and both fans and analysts are eager to see how both fighters approach the second bout. The first fight left too many questions unanswered.
Got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, don't have, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bruh, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened.
It wasn't just a close fight when they first met. Roach shocked many by testing Davis's limits. It was also revealing, exposing weaknesses in Davis's defense and making people wonder if Davis was still improving or starting to deteriorate. Now, the rematch is more than just a contest. It's a proving ground where Davis must prevail to win back people's trust while Roach has an opportunity to become an elite.
All right, so you sparred Lamont Roach in preparation for his bout with Gervonta Davis. First, what did you think of the fight?
What did I think of the fight? It's a little different for me because it's definitely a point of bias there.
Wait, let me put out a disclaimer. He's from Baltimore.
Definitely, I mean, East Baltimore all day. But I'm looking at it from a point of bias because his dad, you know, Ben Johnson Sr. and all them guys that was down there, the coaches Tim and everything like that, they all good people. So I got to know them on a more personal level. And then I get to see like how hard a world champion works. And not only that, to see how he treated his people. So I was going for him just off of personality alone, but everything else, he made me believe in Kent for real. Because me and him might have similar personalities. You know what I mean? As far as the ring, you know what I mean? So everything we was ready for, like the talking shit and everything like that, because that was coming from me, you know what I'm saying? Me and Lamont, so everything was just everything for real. I think he should have won too, you know what I'm saying? But actually when I was there, I thought they actually was gonna like rob him, you know what I mean? But you can't, you know what I mean? You can't deceive the people that's there for what they saying for real.
So you felt like he should have got the nod in the decision.
Especially with all the other controversy too. It should have been overturned, but we know how boxing works, but I mean, we running it back for a reason, you know what I'm saying?
Although Davis's crew has acknowledged the difficulty that Roach presents, and his trainer has been candid about their admiration for his ring IQ and tenacity, they are still confident that Davis just needs a few minor adjustments to put up a stronger performance. They think that the first battle was too close because of poor execution rather than a lack of competence. Therefore, they want to make the rematch definitive.
And Tank, what do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity. You know?
What's the difference makers coming into this fight?
The first fight, I thought, you know, everybody thought Jaleel won. We just got to turn, you know, hit the gears a little harder. You know, we ain't really got to change too much. Just got to put the icing on the cake, you know? Put the icing on the cake this time, that's all. He did enough to win the last fight, but we was in somebody else's territory, you know?
This time around, being in Florida, do you feel like it's a mutual zone?
Yeah. It's more of an even playing field in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel like he needs a stoppage to win the fight due to what happened the first time?
Not necessarily. A stoppage is good, but not necessarily.
Teofimo Lopez claims that following the fight, Davis felt a sense of professional loneliness as many in the boxing community turned away from him, particularly as criticism increased and those who had previously praised Davis began to doubt his skills. This change in perspective struck hard, demonstrating how easily the boxing community can turn against itself when outcomes fall short of expectations.
A lot of people, look what they did with Gervonta too. I want everybody, all these young fighters that are listening to this, and you could clip this. There's a short part right here.
I got you.
To Ryan can clip this right here. To all you young fighters, look at the amount of love they were giving and sharing to Gervonta Tank Davis prior to the fight. Look at what all the reporters were doing prior to the fight. Look how they were all laughing at all his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting to down this man. Down him. See, I'm gonna talk my smack with Tank, but that's because I want to fight him. That's me. I can say that. But I just want all you young fighters to really look about it. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
They won't ever care about us. When you winning, they're gonna be there. But they waiting for any moment to slip up. Just a man, even a draw. Look how much hate he got out of it.
Yeah, not to get deep, but you know, it's a part of our psychology. We have to learn how to care about other people. You know what I mean?
Davis acknowledged that he was emotionally and mentally spent at the time of the first fight, that his focus was lacking, and that his physical health was also deteriorating. Davis even brought up the idea of seeking treatment and quitting fighting, since it imposed pressure that the public couldn't see. He has the opportunity to fight as himself, with a fresh attitude and a clear head, in the impending rematch.
He wants to do therapy. He wants to do real estate. They want to say he wasn't all in because him and Roach are friends, and he's going to be focused for the second fight. A lot of excuses. They want to say it's because of the braids, you know, the oil getting in his eye. Whatever. This is what really happened. And I just now came to this conclusion because I've been making some other videos for Patreon, but Lamont Roach posted a video recently on
Roach had a clear strategy going into the first bout, taking advantage of Davis's sluggish reflexes and short stamina in the later rounds. These weaknesses weren't coincidental, they were strategic goals. Roach's victory in that contest raised serious questions regarding Davis's resilience and stamina. The rematch is anticipated to show if Davis has resolved those problems or whether Roach's approach will win out.
If Lamont Roach exposed weaknesses of Tank Davis, it very much reminds me of Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. What Roach did, Rolly was doing the same thing. He ended up implementing it better against Ryan Garcia. Tank was having huge issues, and that's the black two sugars. Watch me call that fight. I started laughing. I couldn't believe it because all he was patient with good power. All Roach was patient. He stayed focused. That's why him drinking and partying and shit is messing with me, because he beat him here. He stayed so damn focused, and he knew when Tank was going to punch. He knew when not to punch, and when he countered Tank, he rocked Tank. Tank got rocked at least twice.
Some boxing analysts have noted that Roach's doing grease in Davis's eyes, rather than a clean knockout, affected Davis's balance and visibility at the time, tilting public perception in Roach's favor. However, insiders contend that this was not as definitive as it seemed. With that in mind, Davis is now intensifying his preparations in order to return with a clearer vision, both literally and figuratively, to dominate the rematch and remind everyone of his power. That concludes today's video. Stay tuned until the next one.
People keep saying like Lamont dang near like beat Tank like clean, like basically like we seen it, like yeah, he did Tank that one, but like Tank was limping out the ring. Bro, he didn't even get over on Tank for real. Y'all only saying that because Tank took the knee. And when Tank took the knee, it wasn't how like Ryan Garcia was when he took the knee once Tank went to his body. It was like, dang, like I'm taking him to get right back up. Can you do that in boxing? No. But y'all can't say that basically that, oh yeah, he won because of the knee. That shows that people just want to see Tank lose, bruh. Cause y'all betting y'all money on basically Tank losing because of that knee. Yes, it was a good fight. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Lamont was defending himself like he's skilled. But bruh, he ain't walk all over Tank. Tank, bruh, if y'all go back and watch the highlights, I just watched the highlights.